one thing stood out, and that's this: the first duty of government is to protect its weakest. I think sometimes we forget about that. I think the government forgets about it. The first duty of government is not to protect the donor class. It's not to protect those who can muster influence. Our first duty is actually to protect those who don't have any influence. And when I look at the things which I'm most passionate about, it fits very well with this one sentence, with this one statement. My first passion is education. And I'm not interested in looking at trying to make things better for the bureaucracy that runs the schools in all of Southern Nevada. They don't need protecting. I'm not looking at the unions that have all the workers who struggle within that bureaucracy. But they all have lobbyists, they have people that are protecting them. But what about the students? What about the parents? I want to be their voice. And I think I'm uniquely qualified for that. In the past 10 years, I've been immersed in all the intricacies of the education process. I got a business and industry license. Now that's an alternate license. It's one of the best in the whole country. People don't hear about it. It's like a secret. But it's a great license program. I got the license to teach business, computers, and employment skills in high schools. And I've been doing that. I've run clubs. I even somehow got involved in the fashion show. Not sure how that happened, but so I've done all of that. And I also got involved in CCEA, the union, the local union. And in the local union, they elected me to go to the state union, NSEA, and then to the national, NEA. Now this may come as a big shock to some of you. You may not know this. But the NEA, they're not all conservatives. It's not all Republicans. There's actually some Democrats in there. And so I had to work with people that had very different political viewpoints. And we had to come up with solutions. But the interesting thing is when the 2008-2012 co-chair for Barack Obama put together their slate of the people they wanted to go to NEA to work on these problems, my name was always on the list. Now, it wasn't because we agreed politically, but it's because we had one thing in common, and it was something very critical. And that is what we cared about, what we were really there for, our why, was for the students. Every educational decision should be based on what is best for the students. And they knew that's what we would do. And the thing is, if you have the same why, if you're going for the same goal, you have the same why, the fact that you have different hows and whats isn't a problem, it's a strength. The fact that somebody else is looking at the same problem from a different angle, you can take that and draw on that and come up with solutions. And that's what we did. I was appointed to the negotiations team. Now the negotiations team negotiates the contracts for all the teachers. And the last one I was involved in was this last contract where we got a salary schedule that actually makes us superior to the majority of the school districts in the West Coast, including a number of them in California, both for new teachers and retention. But I'll tell you, being on that committee was an education. Do you know that improving the learning environment for the students is not a subject of mandatory collective bargaining? If one side comes up with an idea, something that is going to greatly help the students in their learning, even if it costs nothing, if the other side senses that they might lose power, they can simply refuse to talk about it. And they do. Making a simple change in that would allow us to greatly improve performance without costing us anything. And that can make a big difference. Now the second thing that I'm passionate about that I'm looking at is human trafficking. Las Vegas is a hotbed of human trafficking. And the weakest of our society are preyed upon by predators without souls, who cause our young people to do unspeakable things. They use manipulation, they use deception, and even force to rip apart these young people's lives. We need to do better at protecting them. And I want to try to work with Speaker Hambrick, with anti-human trafficking organizations, as well as my daughter who works fighting human trafficking internationally, and to create and amend laws that will resist and defeat these predators who want to prey on our young people. Now, my last issue that I look at is micro businesses. Now, according to census.gov, 95% of the 28 million businesses that they track are micro businesses. Now, a small business can have up to 500 employees, but a micro business, they tend to have under 5 people or less. And so, Nevada, we are very, very strong at helping big businesses. We're very friendly. Small businesses, we're fairly friendly. Micro businesses, not so much. The government costs to get licenses, to get your startup is high. We have heavy regulation, and we have barriers to competition. We need to go in and review every rule and every regulation and determine whether they're really protecting the public or whether it's just to generate revenue and restrict competition. If we can let the micro businesses free, if we can get them to really be able to reach their potential, we'll have economic activity that you won't believe. You know, people frequently forget, but Microsoft and Dell, they both started as micro businesses. They were both micro businesses and they grew. What would happen if a Microsoft or Dell came out here? What would happen if they were here in North Las Vegas or Las Vegas? What would it do to our economy? And that's possible. We just have to set them free. And who is it that frequently are starting micro businesses? It's the weakest in our society. Very frequently you'll have immigrants, you'll have people who come from a poor environment. They start the micro businesses as a way to get up into better life. And when that's really working, that allows them to have the American dream. So American dream says your past and your present does not control your future. But when the government steps in and stops you, then it kills the American dream. And I think we need to fight hard to restore the American dream. Remove the restrictions. Allow these businesses to flourish. Encourage them. Now, the reason that I'm talking about this today is I'm going to be running for Assembly in District 12. Now, if you agree with my why, if you think that the first duty of government is to protect the weakest, I would ask for your support. If you're in my district, vote for me. If not, volunteer. Give money. We all like that, right? All politicians need that, unfortunately. But do something. Get involved. Because it's important that we look at really protecting those that need protecting. Thank you.
That was one of your better speeches.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
I mean, I heard very few of your normal
Yes.
and so's and
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.